Today, we're diving deep into one of the most high-stakes, behind-the-scenes parts of any justice system, witness protection. It's this critical safety net that makes sure that when somebody has the guts to speak up, the system is there to protect them. So let's get right into it.
Just think about this for a second. You see a serious crime go down, and you know that what you saw is the absolute key to putting some very dangerous people away for a long time. But here's the thing, that knowledge, it puts a giant target on your back. And this isn't some plot from a movie. It's a terrifying reality. And it's the entire reason witness protection programs even exist. So here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we're going to talk about why these programs are so dang important. Then we'll look at the international standards that guide them. We'll compare the US and Australian models, and then we'll take a really close look at the Thai system. And finally, we'll talk about what the whole point of all this really is. So, why is this so critical? Well, it boils down to something really simple. No witness, no case. Right? If the people who see what happened are too scared to say anything, then the scales of justice, they can't even move. Witness protection is basically the government's promise that says, hey, if you stand for the truth, we will stand with you. You know, protecting a witness isn't just about hiding them in a safe house. It's this massive, complicated process. It starts way up high at the international level with big agreements and treaties. And then all of that filters down into the specific laws and agencies of each country, like the US, Australia, and Thailand. It's a huge, interconnected web. So that global layer is where we're going to start, because this isn't just one country's problem. Not at all. It's a challenge that justice systems all over the world are grappling with, especially when they're trying to fight organized crime that doesn't care about borders. And this UN convention from back in 2000, this is the bedrock. This is the document that sets the global standard. It basically says that any country that signs it has a duty, a responsibility, to create and run real, effective programs to protect their witnesses from getting hurt or intimidated.
So what does effective protection actually mean? Well, think of it like a toolkit. It can be anything from physical security for the witness and their family to using tech, like a video conference, so they don't have to be in the same room as the person they're testifying against. And in the most serious cases, it can mean a whole new life. New town, new name, the whole 9 yards. And, this is key, it says countries have to work together to make it happen. All right, so that's the theory. Let's see how it actually works in the real world. We're going to look at two of the most famous programs out there, the American and the Australian models. They're trying to do the same thing, but they're built a little differently. So the US system is probably the one you've seen in the movies, right? It's run by the famous US Marshals, and they do this super intense threat assessment they call a possibility of danger review. A witness has to sign a formal agreement, a memorandum of understanding, an MOU, and the protection can be temporary, just getting them out of the danger area, or it can be a permanent move to a secure area, sometimes with a completely new identity.
Now, Australia's setup is a bit different. It's run at the federal level by the Australian Federal Police, but it has to coordinate with all the different state-level laws and programs. They also use an MOU, just like in the US, and their main tool is relocation. Usually that means somewhere else in Australia, but if the threat is big enough, it could even be international.
So if you boil it down, here's the main difference. Think of the US model as one single, centralized operation run from the top. Australia's is more like a federal hub that connects and works with all these different spokes at the state level. Both ways work, they're just structured differently. And that brings us to our main focus for today, how witness protection works in Thailand. It's a really interesting system that mixes those international ideas with its own unique laws and support. Okay, so the absolute cornerstone of the Thai system is this act from 2003. This is the rule book, and right off the bat, it sets up a key feature, 2 different levels of protection, which they call general and special measures.
But before we get into those 2 types of protection, you've got to understand the practical support that's built right into the Thai system. Because this isn't just about keeping someone safe physically. It's also about recognizing that their entire life has been turned upside down.
And that support recognizes the real-world costs. For starters, there's a daily living allowance of up to 1,500 Thai baht if a witness has to be moved and can't go to their job.
And if a witness is actually harmed because of their testimony, the law covers medical costs up to 40,000 baht. That's a hugely important safety net. And in the absolute worst case scenario, if a witness is killed, their family can receive compensation up to 450,000 baht. It's a really stark reminder of just how high the stakes are. Okay, so let's get back to those two tiers of protection. General measures are like the first line of defense. They get applied when there is a believable threat, things like regular police check-ins. But if the danger is really serious and the case involves things like organized crime or major corruption, the whole system kicks into high gear with special measures. And that can be anything from 24/7 security all the way to a complete relocation. So we've looked at all these laws, all this money, these life-changing programs. What does it all really add up to? What is the fundamental point of it all? Well, it all comes down to this one single, powerful idea. Every single rule, every safe house, every new ID, it's all designed to take fear out of the equation. Because if you can remove the fear, then the truth can come out. And when the truth comes out, justice can actually be served.
So that's the most important thing to remember here. These witness protection programs, they're more than just bodyguards or new passports. They are quite literally a shield for the truth itself. They protect the human beings who carry the truth, so the truth can finally see the light of day in a courtroom.
But I want to leave you with this question, because it gets to the very heart of this whole thing. To be truly 100% safe, a witness often has to give up, well, everything. Their home, their job, their friends, even their name. So how does a society strike that perfect balance between guaranteeing total security while also respecting a person's fundamental right to be free? That's the incredible challenge these programs face every single day.